please help me restrain this guy. And he said, I'm calling the police. And I said, I already called. They're on their way. They're coming. I need your help. And then's when the police officer came around. I saw the police officer. I stood up and I holstered my weapon. And he said, who shot him? And I said, I did. And I put my hands up. I said, I did. And I don't know if he told me to. I just automatically turned my back to him. And I lifted my shirt and I said, my gun's right there. And I told him a few times, I said, my gun's right there. And he goes, okay, I understand. I just need you to keep your hands up. And he put the handcuffs on me, and then he took my firearm from me. Any questions?
I don't have anything else?
No, sir.
You got no idea where he came from, or if he was over in this area. You walked by here, you never saw him?
No, I didn't see him at all. I looked as I was on the phone with the non-emergency. I looked, and I didn't see him at all. And I said, he's gone. I think I said something to the effect.
What was lighting about that time?
It was dark.
Dark.
We fight with that.
None of the porch lights were on? Nothing out back here?
No.
That's real bad. Winter camp is 7:30. See, get it better. 7:15 was happening, right? 7:15.
I could look at my phone.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good. The only thing I saw was what's on my front door from Sanford PD that he lived in the neighborhood. I have a broken nose. She said I could use stitches, but she'd rather not put them in, as long as I didn't mess with my head, because the skin was already healing nicely. She said she didn't have to put stitches in right away.
Emergency room or your primary care?
My primary care.
Does it give you the African authorities or anything?
Pain medicine, and she gave me a referral for an ENT because she said that the swelling wouldn't let them do anything to my nose right now. But once the swelling went down, if I had a deviated septum or a disfigured septum, they would be able to fix it. But there's nothing they could do right now.
Okay. Let's go back to your house before I go over there. Let me see what this person has to say. I'll meet you back over there in a second. Let's see what this person has to say. Would it help as far as your injuries documented from something like that, if possible?
Okay. I'll ask her for them.
Yeah.
She made note of everything.
When I'm done with this.
Yeah, just have to turn around and get the back of his head. Butterfly.
Do you want me to move? I said, do you want me to move or are you moving? Sorry. Moving also.
It's always better to have you say a couple words to her.
Oh, she said I had a
If your brother saw something that we needed to know, it's always better to have
sprained SI. Something about my sciatic something. And she gave me just this scrapes there. I don't think so. No, I had a long sleeve shirt and a jacket on top. No, he was just focused on my head. There's the little bruising there. There's on there. There's a cut here.
Swelling went down because I remember yesterday. I remember seeing swelling around right here, and I don't see it now.
My wife is an RN student, so she went to work.
Continuing on the stand now is Detective Chris Serino, the lead detective who changed the official police report, wanting the charge to be manslaughter and not second-degree murder. Let's listen in.
February the 29th, did you have further contact with the defendant?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And was that at the Sanford Police Department?
Yes, it was.
Was an interview conducted of the defendant on that day?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And were his Miranda rights given by Investigator Singleton?
Yes, they were.
Your Honor, in terms of time frame, we're going to play a recording now. It's about 45 minutes or so I'm fine, but I don't know.
Recess before we begin the recording, or just go forward? You're good? Okay.
Your Honor, at this time, we would move into evidence, State Exhibit 181. I'm sorry, that was already, it is, I apologize, 182.
Okay, no objection?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, 182 will come into evidence.
And Your Honor, we would ask that the court read the same instructions we previously.
I need it from the clerk. Ladies and gentlemen, at the direction of the court, certain portions of defendant's interview with the Sanford Police Department investigators have been excised or redacted based on legal determinations made by the court. The parts excised or redacted are not relevant, and you are not to concern yourselves with why this occurred or with the content of any excised or redacted portions.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
You had previously testified about a recording that was audio. This one is actually videotaped, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
There are parts of it, though, that apparently you have a recorder, too, that's only audio. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you're not in the room, I guess there's audio parts, and then you also, at the end, leave the room with the defendant and I believe Investigator Singleton, too, where it's only audio because you go somewhere else where there's not an ability to videotape this?
Yes, sir.
But you're back in the room, just have to read them to you again, and then I'll just have you sign them like you did before. It's just a different format. The other one was on a cord, and this was on this one's the S1. The Constitution requires I inform you that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used in court as evidence against you. You're entitled to talk to an attorney now or have them present now or anytime during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you without cost. Do you desire to consult with an attorney first or have one during this interview? Okay. If at any time hereafter you wish to remain silent or have an attorney present, all questioning will be stopped. Okay. Has anyone at any time threatened, coerced, promised you anything in order to induce you to make a statement? Okay. Do you understand your rights? Yes. Okay. And do you want to talk with us at this time? Yes. Okay. And 7 minutes doesn't mean you're not going home. You're going to go home regardless tonight. But, I didn't even know. I just don't want you to think, I'm sorry. Thank you. It means you're, because normally it's because you're in custody. You have in custody. You can't be voluntarily, right? Yes. Okay.
All right, let's go to Lisa Bloom, MSNBC legal analyst. It's a little bit hard to hear some of this stuff. Lisa, can you explain to the audience what's going on right now? Lisa Bloom, are you there? Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Sorry, I had a bit of an audio problem. Hi, sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure, of course. Some of this is a little bit hard to hear. Can you explain to the audience what's going on right now?
Yes, this is the videotaped interrogation of George Zimmerman. We know that he did cooperate with the police immediately after the incident. He gave a number of different statements, handwritten, audio-taped, videotaped reenactment, and so this is a videotaped interrogation that's being played for the jury.
All right, thank you.
Joining us now also is former Pennsylvania Congressman and former prosecutor Patrick Murphy. Patrick, thanks for being with us to look at some of these details. As we said, we're looking at some footage here that is in the trial that the jury is hearing, at least in some format. What is the nature of this kind of material, and how much does it move a jury when obviously some of it to the untrained eye seems like hard to follow or seems rather routine as he's being Mirandized?
Right. Well, this is critical for the defense, Tori, because what you have is George Zimmerman basically saying, I act in self-defense, so I have immunity from prosecution. And it's important because the prosecution's saying, hey, listen, he testified, he's giving the examples of, or at least what he's saying happened that day, which is critically important, which frankly will show, if you're arguing for self-defense, we'll go to the question of, will he actually take the stand when a defense gets their chance to put their case on? But the prosecution is doing a step-by-step, building the case, the prosecution to convict him of second-degree murder and showing his testimony for over 2 days after the fact.
All right, let's bring in one other guest. We have Paul Henderson, veteran prosecutor and legal analyst. Paul, one thing that we've noticed is that even if you are the initial aggressor in an attack, you can legally recover your innocence and become eligible for self-defense. But how does that work?
Well, so here's what happens. So let's just say, and this is why it's raising the issue of all of the stand your ground laws and all of the elements around self-defense. So even if you initially initiate an aggressive act, it's not necessarily elevated to a level of deadly force. So you're constantly evaluating, and this is why you're hearing the testimony from him saying that, you know, the cement and the sidewalk is being used as an actual weapon, and he's talking about his hand and mouth being covered so that he could not breathe, because these are elements that tend to drift towards you could die based on the interaction. And that's why Zimmerman is trying to have these conversations and evidence and testimony talking about how dangerous this encounter was, because it allowed him or opened the door to use self-defense at a deadly level. So, but this is why we're going to face a lot of controversy here, because a lot of this is flying in the face of the testimony and the evidence that we heard last week.
All right, let's take a quick break. Full coverage of the George Zimmerman trial continues right here when we get back on The Cycle.
People join Angie's List for all kinds of reasons.
I go to Angie's List to gauge whether or not the projects will be done in a timely fashion and within budget.
Angie's List members can tell you which provider is the best in town.
You'll find reviews on everything from home repair to healthcare.
Now that we're expecting, I like the fact I can go onto Angie's List and look for pediatricians.
The service providers that I've found on Angie's List actually have blown me away.
Find out why more than 2 million members count on Angie's List. Angie's List. Reviews you can trust.
Humans. We are beautifully imperfect creatures living in an imperfect world. That's why Liberty Mutual Insurance has your back, offering exclusive products like optional better car replacement, where if your car is totaled, we give you the money to buy one a model year newer. Call 1-888-792-3456 and ask an insurance expert about all our benefits today. Like our 24/7 support and service. Because at Liberty Mutual Insurance, we believe our customers do their best out there in the world. So we do everything we can to be there for them when they need us. Plus, you could save hundreds when you switch, up to $423. Call 1-888-792-3456 today. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Part of an American success story that starts with one of the world's most advanced distribution systems and one of the most efficient trucking networks with safe, experienced drivers. We work directly with manufacturers, eliminating costly markups, and buy directly from local farmers in every region of the country.
When you see our low prices, remember the wheels turning behind the scenes, delivering for millions of Americans every day.
Dedication. That's the real Walmart.
Here at Options Express.
This is Ed Asner with a public notice for California residents. Do you own your home? Is your monthly electric bill over $150? For a limited time, you can apply for government rebates